Davie had to cut it short because the ferries were stupid prices for this weekend. They were £500 for the ferry to Newcastle.
Yeah.
So he's had to reroute through Calais. So from here to Aberdeen, it's a 5-day trip on the bike.
Oof.
So,
and just to put things into perspective, when we came across here from Newcastle to Amsterdam,
it was about
100 quid each.
100 quid.
Wow.
So they've gone up to 500 quid. Now I'm fine because it's not a bank holiday in Ireland, so I've got a boat. It was €116 straight into Dublin from Cherbourg. So I'm just gonna.
Why such the hike then?
We think it's because of the bank holiday in the UK, but that's going in the UK.
Yeah. But it could also be that we did book our cabins months in advance.
Way in advance, yeah.
6 months in advance. So.
Crikey.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
So
should we do an intro? I just did something I've never done before, and you were I asked you a question off air. You were on your way, and I was like, well, I think we just go live. We've got. Do you know this is the fourth, and the three before, because I've watched them back. Wonderful recollections for me. And before we go any further tonight, I'm just going to start by, I've got a bit of a bone to pick with you both. I mean, like, really. I was sitting down in my sister-in-law's on, was it Friday night? We went down to Middlesbrough. And I'm sitting there, and my brother-in-law, he's mad into bikes. So I started saying to him, am I too old? And he was saying, no. We were chatting about it for half an hour. And he's like convinced me to like go looking at like the is it the CPT, and like check it out. And meanwhile in the background Karen's going no. And I'm kind of going, no, I'm so tempted. Anyway, that's how into it I've been. I've just thoroughly enjoyed it. So thank you for joining me for is it the fourth week? This would be the
fourth time we've got together, but it's
fifth week.
Yeah, fifth week that you're on, and heading into the last.
Yes, fortunately.
So look, before I head us down a melancholy path, right? Let's pick up where we left off, because when we spoke last, you were in Romania. Am I right?
No, we're in Sweden.
No, sorry, that was the time before. You were in Romania, and then yes, you were in Sweden in your room with the wonderful background, which I then saw subsequently a couple of days later when I was watching and catching up on the videos. So, where have we been? This is going to be as much exhilarating and probably energy sapping for you. Fill us in one more time on what's happened since Sweden.
Umeå, yeah, we were halfway down Sweden. We camped down in a town called Umeå because the rain was coming in. So we were there for 2 days. That's where we had the interview with yourself. And then we headed south to Stockholm. As soon as the weather cleared up, south to Stockholm. We stayed in a lovely place in Stockholm. So it was going to start to become the city tour then. So Stockholm, Oslo, Gothenburg, Copenhagen, Berlin, and now Prague. We're in Prague now.
Wow.
Amazing.
Are the bodies feeling it?
Oh yeah,
mine is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are the aging minds feeling it as well?
The mines are fantastic.
Yeah, the mines are great.
Good.
Mines are fantastic.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, a bike is fantastic for the mind. Absolutely fantastic. Because you have to be in the moment all the time when you're on a bike. You have to be constantly. And we've been doing long trips, like 800-900 kilometer days, 12 hour days, some of them. Now we've eased off quite considerably in the last week or so, but the trip up Norway, we pushed. So you're a long time in the saddle. But yeah, no, it's been absolutely amazing. Berlin got to me a bit yesterday. I've never been to Berlin before, and that city is amazing. That
Yeah,
city.
it is.
Oh,
It is. Did you do the tours? Did you kind of go to the Checkpoint Charlie and Brandenburg Gate and do the kind
exactly.
of walk around sort of stuff? Yeah. Did you
Yeah.
do the
The
do
Jewish
the
Memorial.
Did you do the War Museum?
We did the Spy Museum, the Jewish Museum, the terror topography of horrors,
Topography of horrors, of terrors.
of terrors.
Which is by the Berlin Wall. That was quite harrowing, actually.
That was harrowing, really harrowing. And then the Berlin Wall itself, when you're walking along, you're reading all the stuff. I mean, it's just, but the amount of school kids, like we didn't get into the Reichstag because the school tours that were going on. And I think that's fantastic. These are German school tours. So,
Right.
and they're educating the kids about what is their history.
Yeah.
They're not hiding anything. I mean, it's all out in the open. It's fantastic to see.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be, because you never want anything like this to happen again.
No. Yeah. It is. I went with Oz, Gordon, and Cass to Berlin. We thought it would be a good idea to do our sightseeing on segways, and Oz and myself collided and caused a mess on the main roads of Berlin. It was about a month after Oz had his operation. So some place as well, and architecturally though as well, and as well as a history, but and the people, and I'm fairly sure that you found somewhere nice to eat and to have a few libations.
Yeah, we've had a beer in each city. Like Oslo, we had to get not the last train back, the 11 o'clock train back. So the cities are obviously very expensive for accommodation and so forth. So we found that if you get a place just outside, beside a railway, you can get in cheap. I mean, the Oslo trip was €3 into Oslo from the house we were staying in. Same as Stockholm, we jumped the train in. It was 20 minutes on the train, wasn't it? And so you're getting cheap accommodation, but you obviously have to get back then, because you're not in walking distance. So yeah, we said we'd have a beer in each city. Gothenburg was probably the most lively city out of them all. But yeah, the city, I can't get over how vibrant these cities are. Like it's Oslo, Stockholm, Copenhagen, Gothenburg, Berlin just blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. They're fantastic.
Talk a little bit about the vibrance. What sort of what kind of like lit your eyes up and stuff?
Well, even here in Prague,
I noticed it in Prague it's a big student place.
Yeah, it reminds me of Galway.
It's Wednesday afternoon, the hustle and bustle of the streets, and I can't believe how busy it is, and even the little cafes and the bars, and it's just a hustle and bustle. Yeah, it's just massive people. It's sort of I'd say a lot of them are students, but it really is quite vibrant.
And vibrant, kind of a good buzz, a sort of good feel in a safe way.
Yeah.
For me, I found it most with Prague, believe it or not. Sort of, although we've been to lots of other places, Prague's really, I notice it more with Prague.
Yeah, brilliant. And you mentioned the accommodation there, Andy. What's been we've had the we've had the Amityville in a previous episode, and this time I was very jealous when I heard that you had visited a Buddhist monastery.
Yes,
a Buddhist temple. Yeah,
they rent out a couple of rooms.
Not a monastery or
temple.
Yeah.
They rent out a couple of rooms, and it was cheap. It was €25 each a night, and we were on the west end of Berlin. And yeah, you could go down and join the meditation, free of charge. Everything was included. You could, oh, it was amazing, absolutely amazing. So obviously we were in Berlin, so there was so much to do. We never got to do the meditation because Berlin, we wanted to get to see all sites, the Checkpoint Charlie, the Reichstag, everything we got to see. So we never got to do the meditation, but you could hear it go
beer
on.
won't drink itself, right?
No, exactly.
So that was what about any other highlights then since we've seen you last?
Geez.
All the city centres have been phenomenal. All the old cities.
Yeah.
I think it was Stockholm. Stockholm old city
Was amazing.
Really pretty.
Yeah.
In fact, they've all been really pretty cities. Gothenburg took me by surprise.
Yeah, it's nice to hear you see that, because one of the earlier videos when you were kicking out into the wide open, I think it was you, Andy, like with the camera on. You'd come up, can't remember where it was, and there was like a fork in the road, and you'd said, "Oh, that way's to the city. Bikers don't like cities. We like the open road."
But you gotta, on a tour like this, you gotta mix and match it. And the countries we've been to and the towns we've been to, apart from Germany, we've been to Germany, but we've never been to Berlin. Every time we get into a place and we stay over and said, I've never been to Prague before. I've never been to Berlin before. I've never been to Oslo before. And me and Davie, we both say it when we arrive on the bikes. The first thing we said, we're in Prague. I've never been to Prague before. If we say it at Stockholm, we said it all the way up, all the way through. Same with Romania, Bosnia. I've never been to Bosnia before. That's the tune going through that we're talking to each other. When we stop, we're stopping in Montenegro. Oh, I've never been to Montenegro before. And that's the sort of vibe of the whole trip, was to get to places that we'll probably never visit again, never have done before, but also pick out a couple of places that I would definitely go back to with the family and so forth.
Yeah. So what are those places for you, or for you both?
Berlin for me. Berlin.
Berlin.
I mentioned last time Estonia. I did like Estonia.
Yes,
any of the Scandinavian cities, capital cities, they're a bit expensive.
Yeah.
But I would say you'd only need to do one. They're all very similar. They've all got their own trickiness about them.
Yeah.
And they're all really nice. It's but to go back, I wouldn't go back to each one of them. I'd go back to maybe one of them.
Right. Okay. What about you, Andy?
I definitely, similar to those cities, definitely Berlin, Croatia, and Romania.
Okay.
They were fantastic. Yeah. Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Okay.
What a trip. What a trip.
We were reflecting on it this morning, Graham, and looking at the map and sort of the video that Andy's got prepared for tonight.
Yeah.
It is that reflection of how far we've come.
Yeah.
All the countries we've been through. And it is at that stage where I'm actually forgetting some of the things that we've done. I have to be reminded. And then when it comes in, oh yeah, remember that happened. So it's thankfully I did keep a diary, but I don't remember it all off the top of my head.
And this is where, with Andy's newfound editing skills, what he does when he gets home is he puts it all together and gives you the full length movie, and then he edits little bits that go out over social media for years to come. It's brilliant having that footage, having that content. Those are memories, aren't they? You'll be able to look back on them. It's fantastic. It's great to capture it that way.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. It's all about memories. And
exactly.
I never did the video editing before. I did some bits and pieces. So, and to do it on the road, and especially the cameras have been acting up since Stuttgart, since they got absolutely drowned in the rain in Stuttgart. They haven't been operating properly at all. I lost a hard drive, an external hard drive that made it so easy. I just take out the SD card, put it in the hard drive, and it automatically downloaded without even connecting to a computer. So the first day or two, that was so handy. But that isn't working since then. And I thought, that's the end of the videos. I can't do it. But I managed to get a dongle with an SD card reader on it, and Apple accepts it. Apple's a nightmare. I'm not an Apple person. Apple is just, when it comes to, I've got two connections in my Apple laptop. Two. Yeah, I've actually got, look, I've got a dongle. That's the hard drive. That's the 4 terabyte hard drive, and then I've got that hanging out. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
But it's a dongle thing, and so I connect the SD card into that, transfer it over to that hard drive. Oh, so that's why it's only 10-minute videos I can do. I have to cut everything out.
Yeah.
Like, you're only getting 10 minutes of what we do during the day, and there's some days, like especially on the long, there's nothing happens really. We're just out for a bike ride, a long bike ride, 10, 11 hours. So there's nothing really happens until possibly then we get to a place that's a sauna cabin that we stay in, or a Buddhist temple that we stay in, or something, you know, and that tells the story then. But no, it's been an interesting thing. I don't think I'll become a professional motor vlogger. I mean, I know a few guys. I mean, Dave Large has a very good friend, and I went on a few trips with Bruce. Teapot One is his YouTube channel, and he's brilliant. He's a brilliant motor vlogger. So I've been on tours with him, so I saw what he did. But yeah, it's very difficult to do it on the road. But there was no way I was going to do it. Like, already I've got about 600 gigs of data.
Oh,
and I am not going to go through that when I go home. I can guarantee you that. No way. Absolutely no way. So I said, no, I'll do it each night. 10-minute videos, just quickly snip. Throw some pictures in there, do a spiel on the map, where we are, what we're doing, and where we're going, and that will keep the memories alive, you know.
Yeah, and it's been brilliant. But the same format every day, give or take. And I loved when you started to add the photos from the city centres in as well. That was a nice wee touch. So I've enjoyed it, and I know you have as well. I can see it. You can kind of see it's maybe ever so slightly starting to take its toll, but you're in good spirits, and that's the main thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
See the characters we've met though, the likes of Margaret, who put us up in an Airbnb. She was sort of a fantastic, all the way through to some Nigerian king's son, allegedly, and sort of and then who was it? The two in the bar, the chef who's trying to get us to come back the following night. What city was that? You remember we were in the bar, it was only us there.
Oh yeah. Can't remember.
But it's speaking of them, getting their stories, etc., and sort of the first night in Berlin, sort of you were speaking to. I was
3 locals.
Oh yeah, speaking to locals.
That was the chef.
Was that the chef?
He was the chef. Yeah. He didn't want us to go into town. He says, no, it's only full of tourists. Like, he's German. Like, that was our first night in Berlin. Yeah, no, it's been absolutely outstanding. And it's when I look back on the photographs, like, I only look back and I caught us up in far northern Norway. Before we pushed on to Nordkapp, we stayed in these river cabins. And we had the fire outside the cabin going. We cooked our food on the fire outside. We're sitting down. We had a big log fire going, a massive river. We're the only ones in these cabins. There's about 10 cabins for hire, and we're the only ones staying because it's beginning of May, or a week into May, or 10 days into May. So nobody's going up that far because the snow's still on the ground. And we're there all on our own, cooking away. And to look back on those photos, it was just amazing. That was amazing.
Yeah. Fantastic. Shall we bring a few people in? I've got a number of people watching, and Mike Pierce says amazing trip, really enjoyed all the videos. Jimmy Quinn says they've been in bloody bars every day since Sweden.
Yeah.
You're not protesting that. You're not denying it.
We did, and it was usually a rooftop bar. But...
Hey, Bladesy, how you doing, mate?
Mr. Blaze says evening, gents. And Mo, brilliant trip. Loved watching the videos.
Thanks a million, Mo. Cheers, buddy.
There you go. Yeah, a few people tuned in. So a quick question for you. You mentioned about the bikes not only requiring all that focus, but being good for the mind. How in kind of, you know, how does it help the mind?
You're at peace with yourself, Graham.
Yeah.
You know, sort of, and particularly the first 2 weeks, we didn't even have any music or anything like that. It was literally just you and yourself on the bike and the concentration.
Yeah.
And I suppose you do a bit of meditation. It's very, very similar. You know what I mean? You're just a dog than yourself. It's your own company. And it's if you're at peace with yourself, it's easy. You know what I mean? So it's if you
It
don't mind
flows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have a minute to think of anything else. You're so busy. In the morning, you're packing up the bike. I mean,
Yeah.
you're taking everything off the bike to bring into a hotel or a tent or whatever, a campsite, whatever you're doing. So there's so much to do and organize. And the last thing you want to do is lose a plug or a lead or a melt, whatever, you know. So you're so busy, and then when you're on the road, you're concentrating so much to make sure you're safe and Davey's safe and I'm safe, and so your mind is it's focused more or less 24 hours a day, and it's fantastic. You have no problems on the road. There's no cares in the world because they can't get in there. None of your problems can get in at you because you're so focused on that moment in time of getting that bike to the next destination. And that's, from a mental point of view, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I absolutely love that, because I've been doing a kind of advanced meditation online workshop for the last month. And those things that you've said, the things that I've noticed with extra meditation, because in essence, all what I'm doing in my loft and in my office is actually in here the same as what you've just told me, is that I'm finding that I focus clearer. I'm doing more of focusing on one thing at one time, therefore avoiding distractions. Exactly like you've just said there as well. Nothing else can get in because you're actually right there in the moment, totally and utterly present, with no room for anything that's fear-based from the future, or likewise from the past. That there's nothing in there except what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And it's
even, yeah, especially when you're on the back roads, when you're on the windy, twisty roads, nothing else enters your mind apart from how you're going to take that corner.
Yeah.
You've got to judge everything, how to get around that corner. And after you've taken that one, you have to judge how you're going to take the next one. So nothing can get in at you. You are twisting, winding. Everything is judged. Do I brake? Do I drop a gear? Do I go up a gear? Everything. No, I can do this. I've got enough lane. It's focused. Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow into it? Everything. Is there any gravel on the road? Is there anything on the bend that will take my back tire out? You've got to, everything is going through your mind. Apart from any worries or cares in the world, they are not going through your mind at that moment in time.
It doesn't. What happens when you go back to work in a week's time doesn't matter. What's for tea next Friday doesn't matter. No. What you said to somebody in Romania, like 2 weeks, that had sleepless nights, it can't be there. There's no room for anything. Yeah, amazing. I love that. That's where I was going. I'm just trying to get the detail out of that. It's brilliant. Because, like you say, focus. And you said that right at the start. It's like that. How does that drain you physically after 700? What's the longest one that you've done?
It was about 11 hours. So it was nearly 800. It was 800 sort of might even be a little bit further than that. But physically, you're exhausted. You know what I mean? Yeah. You come off the bike, and yes, we have been having a pint in the bar, but it has literally been one or two.
And then you're fast asleep.
But particularly the big days. Sort of now we're into the cities, it's been a little bit more relaxed. So we have been able to have a little bit more downtime with regards to that. So, but up until then, up until Sweden, It was
It
literally
was full on.
if we had a drink, it was one drink and then we're bedded.
Yeah.
Well, that
Well,
might be another thing as well.
I think you've done remarkably well. Especially as neither of you are young men anymore.
I won't say.
No, go on, say it.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, yeah, we're not getting any younger. Nobody is. So, yeah, it was either we had to do it now because come a few more years, this trip will probably be impossible, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and especially like I've been chomping at the bit since COVID, the lockdown. Like I'm not a person to be locked down or locked in a house and can't get out. And you know, I needed, yeah, I think we both needed this to get out there and say, right, the world is now open again. I'm going.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been fantastic. I asked you right in the green room at the start, just before we came live. I said I must try and get a tune out of you, and you mentioned one which I liked, but the one that had been buzzing around my head, that kind of starts with that at the beginning of the song. Get your motor running. So Born to Be Wild has been sort of flying through my mind. But you mentioned a song that you've both been singing. I think you mentioned it in a maybe on the first one that we did. But remind us what that song was and who it's by.
It's Willie Nelson, On the Road Again. And we say it to each other every morning. So when we get the comms connected first thing in the morning, when we have our helmets on, ready to go on the bikes, the first thing we both say, we're on the road again. And we just, it's one of those things. And we're off.
Little habits.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. So we are up to how many days have we got left? What's happening now? Because I did get the end of one of the videos the other day. You were, I think, Davie, you might be going a separate way.
Basically, we're parting ways now. I'm going to make a break for the UK, which is just to get to the UK is 2 days. It's about 1,200 kilometers from here, so that's 2 days alone. And then from Dover all the way up to Inverurie, it's another couple of days. So it's sort of so I'm expecting to get home, hopefully around Sunday night. That's what sort of I'm expecting to. And I think Andy's Wednesday or Thursday.
On Wednesday next week, I'll be home on Thursday. So yeah, with Davie, he was hoping to get a ferry into Newcastle, which would cut half his journey out, you know, and Newcastle to Aberdeen, Inverurie, you can do in a day easily. But because the cost of the ferries are stupid, it went up 5 times, 500 sterling for a ferry with a motorbike, and it only costs 100 on the way over. So it's something to do, possibly the bank holiday, I don't know, but there's no way you can pay that. That's stupid. So he's had to change his plans to go Calais. What was it, 50, 60 quid?
54 quid, yeah.
54 quid through Calais. But that means he's got, like, from here, it's more or less a 5-day trip to Inverurie in Aberdeen from Prague. So he's shooting off towards Calais. I've booked my ferry from Cherbourg. Cherbourg goes directly to Dublin. So I've literally, on the other side, I've got a 20-minute drive when I come off the boat, which is perfect for me. So I'm going to take 6 days. So next Wednesday is my ferry. I'm just going to do 250, 300 kilometers a day, all on the back roads between here and Cherbourg. Depending on, I'll do the Normandy beaches and so forth when I get up that direction. I'm looking also at staying, possibly camping outside of Paris and emptying the bike and just driving in the evening into Paris. I know my brother did it and he got some fantastic photographs. So I need to ask him where he stayed and what he did. You just, once you get all the bags and the heaviness off your bike, then it becomes a town bike again, you know, a city bike again. Yeah. So it'd be handy once all the traffic is gone in Paris in the evening, 7, 8 o'clock in the evening, drive in and get a couple of photographs or something of Paris. Yeah. So that's only what I'm thinking. It may not happen, but that's what I'm heading to Cherbourg. Yeah. And I had a great plan until I looked at the weather. I was heading down to northern Italy. My sister's in Parma at the moment. She's got a job in Parma. She flies over every so often. So she's there for 10 days in northern Italy. I was going to drop down to her and then into the French Riviera, down into the Spanish Pyrenees and across Spain and travel out of Bilbao back to Ireland.
Okay.
But the rain, like it's just torrential rain down there at the moment. Northern Italy, getting in and out of Northern Italy would have been soaked. Getting the whole French Riviera for next week is raining, and so is northern Spain. So basically, from if you draw a line from Munich all the way across, there's rain all below that, and it's lovely weather above that. So I have to stay in Northern Europe. So that's my plan, is just to take it easy all the way to Cherbourg.
Yeah. Well, it has been fantastic. I wish you both a bon voyage.
Graham, can I ask you a quick question, if you don't mind? Sort of, because Andy's swithering, he's not sure. I'm wanting feedback on Andy's beard from yourself and anybody else watching.
I've never had a beard this long before.
You can tell. You keep kind of touching it. Do you like it?
I don't know. I'll probably be my wife who decides, actually. But yeah, no, I've never had it this long before. I must look back at the first video I did and then take snippets of each of the videos, and as it goes longer and longer.
It looks quite distinguished from certain angles, and then it's like it'll catch the light in many different ways. Distinguished. Pete Tuckerman thinks differently. He said, if you're looking for the homeless look, you've nailed it. I'm just too polite.
Too diplomatic, Graham.
There you go. Oh dear. Do we want to have a quick shout out for our charities again, just before we wrap up, gents?
Yeah, certainly. I'll start with the Scottish Association for Mental Health. My Just Giving page is out there. Would like a little bit more just to help boost it. I've almost reached my target, but any small donation would be very, very welcome.
Wonderful. Smash it.
And mine is mental health charity, Pieta House. And again, anything at all, small or large, just start getting that target up, please.
Wonderful. Gentlemen, it's been absolutely fantastic catching up with you, but following the journey and just being able to do a wee bit to kind of try and share and spread the word. It's been thoroughly enjoyable, perked my weeks up. I don't know what I'm going to do now. Maybe we should. I'm going to have to go and get some more guests.
Yeah.
It's okay. I've got some up my sleeve somewhere. But yeah, we're just waiting on the things taking shape, which I think they are. Yes, this has been absolutely great. Listen, anything else we can do, just shout. And if you want to do a wrap up session when you're both on separate screens when you get home, we can. No obligation. I've taken up four of your weeks now in a row, but yeah, listen.
No, it's been great. It's been great. It's good to keep in contact from back home as well, and it's great seeing the comments from the lads and that. So yeah, and again, and Davie be the same. Just want to thank the families, my wife, my daughter, and my son for allowing this trip to happen, because without them, this wouldn't be happening either. So
nice way to close off for the evening. Okay, farewell. Bon voyage, and we'll see you back in the UK and Ireland.